In an unspecified location in Moseley. And Iqbal, as our viewers and listeners know very well, is a very, very accomplished director of theatre and opera based here in Birmingham of Pakistani heritage. And one of the productions of yours which I remember with particular huge pleasure is Much Ado About Nothing, a play which in Stratford can often look like a safe bit of costume drama about somebody else's problems that we don't have anymore. Arranged marriages, violent activities against women, this division between male and female spheres, all those tensions in the play look sort of safe in a lot of Western productions. How did you solve that? How did you address it?
So we set it in modern day, and it was important to me that we did set it in a modern context, that we didn't fall into the trap of maybe kind of orientalizing it, talking about a kind of an aesthetic past where these things might have attained, but I wanted to explore the dynamics of modern India, modern Delhi, and see how they revealed all the things that you talked about, and how much we might need to adapt the play to explore those things, or actually how much the play spoke directly and concretely to those issues. And what I found was that actually it was the most dangerous, exciting, vibrant context for that play, and not just politically and morally, the themes of the play, but also the language sang. We didn't need to change any of the nouns. The idiolect kind of changed the sense of where Messina was. We didn't need to change that at all. And like, as I say, actors who had the appropriate heritage felt much freer with that language than I had. I worked with a lot of that company in other contexts, and it was the most extraordinary thing to see them really grow into that play and into that context.
Yeah. No, it was very exciting. Certainly one of the more vibrant and powerful Much Ado I've seen.
Well, and it was also quite important for us to sort of create. So we created a world before the audience came into the theatre. So we did that in the foyer. We actually outside the theatre. We had events going on, and we had the sound of the world in a soundscape. As people walked into the theatre, it didn't feel or sound like they were walking into a theatre. It literally felt like they were transported, and that was very important. We had lots of activities going on. We had our characters talking to the audience, existing, selling stuff to them. So there was an enormous pre-show activity that allowed the audience to sort of, as it were, suspend their disbelief and really commit to, be complicit in the rhythms of that work.
Yeah, and it worked so brilliantly partly around lots of ways. That very militarised look of men in modern khaki rather than pretty uniforms, which they're often put in.
Yes.
They come back from a real war, and they were really in a kind of male mentality of the barrack room, particularly part of the problem. And the servants were so good. The watch.
Yes.
That world seemed to fit very well.
Well, yes, it did, and that's a very important point to make about what I discovered about this context, and what's useful about this context is that there are no invisible or private conversations, because because of the hierarchy and the caste in that world. The soldiers who are often belong to a certain caste or a certain hierarchy can be surrounded by servants and admit the most personal things to each other and feel like they are completely unseen or unheard, because they don't see or hear the servants that are moving around them constantly. And it meant that in this world that we created, there was enormously explosive information that was available to those that wanted to use it. and yeah, we could make the point about hierarchies, and our women in the play had a certain kind of freedom in certain rooms, and when that room changed, when the purpose of being in that room changed, we saw how they shifted, and these were very strong, powerful women who understood the codes of the world that they were in, and the exception to that rule was Beatrice, who was constantly in every single room challenging for her freedom, for her challenging in naughty, playful ways, and then ultimately in much more kind of explicitly challenging ways, fighting for her agency, her freedom, and the agency of her cousins.
Yeah, it was great to see. Do you think Mira Sayal will do any more Shakespeare?
Well, she played the nurse in Count Branag's Romeo and Juliet, so I mean she loves it, and it's a very natural fit for her. So I think the more opportunities she gets, she'd take every opportunity she's given, I would imagine. She's incredibly adept, and yeah, I think it's about if she has the space to do it, I think she'll take it.
Another production of yours, which was another adaptation of a classic or transposition of a classic into a modern context, where again it didn't seem like a pleasantly curated relic, was Tartuffe, where it's a version of Molière's play about the religious hypocrite who gets himself into a household, which instead of being about a kind of fake holy Catholic preacher, was about a kind of fake imam, a Muslim in modern day Birmingham. How did that go down?
Incredibly well. I mean, we worked very hard to develop it, to ensure that we walk that kind of knife's edge. Because that play, I think, is funniest. The satire is most biting when the stakes are real and are dangerous. And I think often in recent times, productions I've seen have felt very cozy, very farcical. We get the setup, and then we enjoy, and I think enjoy too much the working out of the plot. Whereas actually just to set it in modern Birmingham, just to set it in an Islamic context. I mean, and the thing is, the Islamic context didn't mean that everybody was from Pakistan. You know, there are lots of different kinds of Islamic people. There are the converts or the reverts, you know, might be called. We had a Bosnian Muslim playing the cleaner Dorina in that context. She had her version and views on Islam. And then we had, you know, our Tartuffe in that context. And what's interesting is that play. Yes, it's a satire on the culpability of people to the frailty of people to religious persuasion and manipulation. But at the centre of that play is a grief. Is an absence of the first mother, of the mother of these children and the wife of this man, and just before the play begins, there's a new mother, a surrogate mother, and in essence the play is about an absence of parenting in that play, and so people, as a metaphor, people are the children and the various members of that family are looking for guidance, are looking for a set of morals to align themselves to. They are looking to be accepted in various ways, and it feels to me like at the moment that seems to be peculiarly where we are as a society. Is a lot of people feel very vulnerable, very lost, unfriended, and are therefore very vulnerable to the Tartuffes of this world.
I must say, I thought better of the play after seeing that version of it. I've always thought of Molière's plays as rather small and definite and very clear about what they're saying, but there was and bigger emotional range
Yeah.
that opened up in that
Yeah.
production, and this range of views that it was possible to articulate in relation to each other without them sort of damaging each other. The religious perspective was still there, it's just that there are all these other things that you could also say.
Well, yeah, and actually the one thing I wanted to try and get right with it was that it wasn't a critique of Islam.
Yeah.
That we presented a not homogenous community. We did the opposite. We presented an incredibly complex, layered range of views around this, and that the religious faker, as it were, the conman, was I suppose I was sort of satire on the media culture, on how on the political culture that we seem to have at the moment, how sort of someone can manipulate the vulnerable. Yeah.
I saw it in Stratford. Has it been revived?
It's going to be revived. I mean, what was wonderful was that at Stratford was that it spoke to lots of all the communities that came to see it. I mean, there were more Asian spectators than would normally come to the Swan, but we still had predominantly a kind of white middle class theatre literate audience coming to see it, and they were nervous when they needed to be nervous, but they were incredibly free in understanding that the world that we were creating, and also how it read beyond the particular context. So yes, it was very generously was received, and it was going to happen in Birmingham just before the lockdown. And so we were going into tech, and then we had to shut everything down and park it. And brilliantly, we are going to do it in October of this year. At the Birmingham Rec, kind of in Birmingham as it were, and it's a raucous audience here, so I can't wait to see how we're received.
Oh, it's going to be great. I'll come see it again. You're of Pakistani heritage, but have you ever taken a production to Pakistan?
No.
Have you worked there at all?
No, I haven't. No, and I'd love to. I'd love to engage with that a lot more. It's interesting, actually. I think one of the first opportunities I had as a director to direct a Shakespeare play in a professional context was Othello years and years ago, and my immediate instinct was to interrogate my story, my sense of the world, and so I reduced the number of characters in it, and I cast a predominantly Asian company, Pakistani. Iago was a Pakistani. Othello was black. My Desdemona was Asian. Cassia was Indian. Amelia was white. Because what I was looking at with that play was I was looking at different kinds of otherings that I've experienced. The kinds of otherings that happen in the Asian community towards the black community. A white woman, Amelia is an other in the play, and as a white woman in that context, it sort of set off, detonated certain kinds of experiences and themes that we could explore. So I have always been concerned with sort of turning that lens onto these works, because they are always, it seems to me, interrogating these things. So I would love to have the experience of
I
kind
think
of
it's been extra.
going to Pakistan and learning how my experience tallies with the experience of what's going on.
The one Pakistani Shakespeare production I know is a film, the film Ram, R-E-H-M, beautiful movie filmed in Lahore that's modern, it's a kind of imaginary 20th century setting for Measure for Measure, and it just works beautifully. Beautifully played, and you recognise one of the actors.